This is Mike, and welcome to episode number 371 of the Ecom Crew podcast. And hello from Las Vegas, Nevada. Today we're going to be talking to our friends over at Outline-Matic. They are an old sponsor of the 5-Minute Pitch. And one of the things we promised them as a part of that was to get them on the Ecom Crew podcast at some point. And somehow months and months have gone by, even over a year, I think, and it never happened. I don't know why. They're an awesome company. They have really good design services, things that get asked all the time. Highly recommend checking them out. You can go to ecomcrew.com/outline-matic and get 10% off your order there. That's something that we set up after we recorded this. They were like, would you like an affiliate code and all that? The code is ecomcrew if you do want to use it. So there is an affiliate relationship there. It gets you 10% off. It gets us a kickback as well. That is not the reason we had them on the show. Just want to be clear about that. That's something that they offered afterwards. But I always like to be transparent about this. So it's always like this weird thing because we don't ever advertise stuff on the show, and we are kind of advertising this. So take that as you will. I personally wouldn't have them on the show, but I didn't think they made great stuff. And it's actually something that, again, it comes up all the time as a part of Ecom Crew Premium. People are always looking for this stuff because graphics make such a huge difference. So ecomcrew.com/outline-matic to get to their website. OUTLINEMATIC. The code is ecomcrew. That will get you 10% off for all their services, not just one time. So go check that out. I think you'll really enjoy it. We have Mariska on, who is the co-founder of Outline-Matic. She's the design director. We go over a lot of really good stuff in this episode. This is not just about Outline-Matic and them as a sales company or trying to sell your services. Even if you don't use them, there's a lot of stuff in here that will help you with your branding. We talk about your brand logo, your packaging, inserts, listing images and infographics, A+ content, and more in this episode. There's lots of tips and tricks in here, a lot of interesting data from just past customers and stuff like that. So we hope you enjoy the episode. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode with Mariska from Outline-Matic.
Welcome to the Ecom Crew Podcast, the web's most transparent podcast from two seven-figure sellers who share the good, bad, and the ugly about running an e-commerce business. You'll learn how we build our brands, find products, and develop marketing strategies that will help you start and grow your own $1 million e-commerce brand. And now your hosts, Mike Jackness and Dave Bryant.
Hey Mariska, welcome to the Ecom Crew Podcast.
Oh, thank you, Mike. It's nice to be here. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is a long time coming. You guys actually sponsored 5-Minute Pitch like way back in the day, and somehow we just never got you on the podcast. And it actually turns out to be perfect timing because we've had a few Ecom Crew Premium members looking for people who can help with packaging and logo design, stuff like that, because at Ecom Crew, we're constantly pushing to have like a Fortune 500 feel to what you do on Amazon. It's one of the nice things about being on the internet is you can bat way above your weight. And the thing is, I mean, everyone else is starting to do that now. And so now it's just becoming like you have to do it versus like it used to be a thing to differentiate. It almost seems like now you have to do it just to compete. And so we thought it'd be a great idea. Now that it's Q1 here, people are thinking of things that they want to be doing for their business this year to talk about what Outline-Matic does. So before we get too far into the weeds, if you can maybe just take 30 seconds or whatever and tell people about who you are and what Outline-Matic does.
Okay, sure. Well, my name is Mariska Harris, and I am the co-owner and the design director at Outline-Matic. And what we do is overall branding for your e-commerce or Amazon product. We help you with your logo, packaging design, inserts, images. We can even help you with your Amazon listing with keywords and things like that. So we try to be a one-stop shop for all of that.
Awesome. And today, I mean, obviously, if you are interested in having someone else do this stuff for you, reach out to Outline-Matic. But if you're doing this on your own or have your own people, the goal, I think, is to provide a bunch of tips and experience that you guys have seen after designing hundreds of brands and products and things like that. So where do you think a good place to start is? You want to just start right at the top at logos and work our way down?
Yeah, sure. So we can get started on how branding is a key player in your e-commerce business success. And the first thing will obviously be your logo. Mm-hmm. We have different branding tools available to us to use on Amazon, and the thing of using these branding tools is together they build a strong brand. And the one thing is the logo, the other thing is your packaging, inside of your packaging, you'll have your insert. And then you have your listing where you have your images, your enhanced brand content, and obviously your keywords and everything that's on your listing. And I would like to just provide a few tips for people starting out or people who are already selling on Amazon and how they can enhance that and use these branding tools and make the most out of these branding tools.
Awesome. Yeah, let's definitely dig into the weeds on that and discuss some tips and tricks.
Okay, so the first thing is your logo. I mean, that's your brand identity. If you see a very popular brand somewhere, you immediately know a lot of things about that brand. And that's why your logo is the foundation of your brand identity. It's your point of recognition, it conveys a message, and it's overall your first impression. I mean, when people have an option of buying a plain white t-shirt or a white t-shirt with a black Nike logo on it, they'll obviously go for the one with the Nike logo on it. And that's why, because Nike has such strong branding, and it's that point of recognition for them. You know, people like being able to wear that and you know, people saying, oh, you know, he's wearing Nike. And they have a very memorable brand. So I'm using them as an example because you just see them everywhere in all the sports, and they just grab your attention. And they don't have a very detailed logo, but they have a very memorable logo, if that makes sense.
It does. It absolutely does. And it's so simple. It's such a simple logo. I actually just read an article the other day about the person who designed that, and it's a really interesting backstory. You can just search on Google or something and find it if you're interested in this. But the lady ended up getting awarded some shares when the company went public, and she was struggling, you know, when she made that logo, and ended up making her millions and millions of dollars for designing that logo, which is interesting. And there's also, you provided us a presentation. We're doing this obviously over audio. If anybody's interested, you can email us at support@ecomcrew.com and we'll share some of the examples. But you guys made a logo for Goofy Giraffe here. And I love how like the G in the giraffe is, it's hard to explain over audio, but it's so cute and clever. Like there's like a little ears, and it's really
antlers,
brilliant.
Yeah.
It's really brilliant. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing that and some other things that Outline-Matic has done, just email us at support@ecomcrew.com. But I agree. I mean, I think that this stuff is super important. People often overlook it. You know, we'll talk to our students and people be like, Mike, like, why should I invest thousands of dollars into this stuff when I'm selling online and it's just on Amazon? It doesn't really matter, but it does matter. And it manifests itself in terms of higher reviews and also repeat business. It might not help you get your first sale, but it'll help you get your second sale from that customer. And it certainly will help you get, typically, if you do a really good job with branding and packaging, consistently you'll get a half a star better, because the first impression that people have when they see your product is something that you can't change. And they immediately have a mindset of, oh man, this looks like a really great product from like a Fortune 500 company, and it looks like a really high quality product and everything just based on the packaging, versus, oh, this showed up in a poly bag, and is this a warehouse deal, or is this like that I just get scammed in some way? And so that makes a big difference.
Yeah, it certainly does. I know a lot of the time people would say, you know, people don't search your brand name when they search a product. No, that's definitely true. They search a product and they look at reviews and they look at photos and they look at listings. But for setting yourself apart and creating a brand so people will come back to you, that's why a logo and overall branding is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you got to do the basics of the logo, the foundational stuff, before you even get into the packaging, because your logo presumably is going to be all over your packaging. And
oh yeah,
packaging is another, as I kind of just mentioned, another really important factor. I mean, I'm looking at, you know, the material that you sent over. Again, if people want to see this, they can. You guys designed this amazing packaging for some dog treats. You know, people are obsessive about their pets. And so, like, if you were to send these again in a poly bag or just an unmarked bag, which a lot of people, you know, I order stuff off Amazon. I'm a shopper, and I get stuff sometimes. I'm like, I can't believe like the packaging these guys use, like, or the lack thereof. Versus, you know, if I were to get this Einstein Pets treats, I would remember them when the bag runs low. I'm going to, you know, remember how to reorder it, because, you know, 3 months from now when I run out of treats, I might not even remember what the heck I ordered off Amazon, and I might think about ordering something else if I wasn't that impressed by the packaging or thought maybe I was ordering substandard products. So what are some tips that you have on packaging?
Yeah, sure. So unfortunately, we cannot take credit for designing this packaging. I just used it as an example to show people how powerful packaging can be. I saw this packaging in a pet shop in St. Petersburg a while back. And I Googled them and, trying to see, because I was very interested, because the packaging grabbed my attention immediately. Out of everything in that shop,
it's so
that
cute.
Packaging grabbed my attention.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cute. And I read this article, and I will send you the link for this so you can link to that so people can have a look at that as well. But this brand had a 200% boost in sales because of their packaging. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah, and it's not surprising because, they nailed it.
Oh yeah, no, they did. It's very cute. And you get different colors because there are different flavors and stuff, and they have a bunch of stuff now. This is just like the one that I used in the example, but they have so many things, and there's a very good brand consistency throughout everything. And you can just immediately see when you walk into a pet shop where their brand is on the shelf. It pulls you right to the shelf.
Yeah.
And that's why packaging is important. It stands out online or in a retail space. People think, but I'm selling online. Why is my packaging important? It's very important because you can use your packaging in your main image on Amazon. It helps so people don't, infringe on your listing, take over your images and things like that. It excites the customer. Like you mentioned, when something comes in a poly bag at your house, you're going to be like, is this just like a scam or something?
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
What is this? But if you get a very nice packaging, you're going to be so excited, and you're definitely going to want to buy from this brand again. So that's why packaging is it's actually such a powerful thing that you can use even on online spaces.
And there's a couple of things you mentioned there that I think are really important. One I just want to hit home on here. We learned this actually kind of just through trial and error, where you mentioned you can put your packaging in your main listing for Amazon. And we found that by doing so, it's helped our conversion rate or click-through rate specifically significantly, or therefore our sales have gone up by doing this trick. And what also happens by putting the packaging in there, you're able to focus on a couple of words, things that are on the packaging that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get in the main image, because Amazon's very strict about the main image, but the package, as you say, can be in there. And so it's just been a huge win for us. And so it's taken us a lot of time, but we've been going back and tried to re-engineer some of our packaging specifically for this, so it looks really great in an Amazon listing. And one of the things that we've done, where people have copied our products, which has been just a huge problem for us over the years now, where, 5 years ago, we were the first ones to launch a particular product on Amazon. Now there's 20 or 30 people selling the same thing. They all look the same. Wow. How do you stand out? Well, we've put it's a blue product, and they all look the same. People use the same color blue. It's kind of crazy, like little round blue packs. Well, what we did is we put like a big red stripe on the packaging, and now when you search that particular keyword, like your eyes are just drawn right to our listing because of the improvements we made to the packaging, not necessarily even to the product, but just to the packaging. So it's really just been a huge revenue driver for us by doing that.
Yeah, and there you go. Another great example. A lot of people have told us before, clients of us, that coming back to get more packaging designs done for their other products, because they tell us that they've seen such an increase in sales, and it must be their packaging because it's what they changed in their main image. And and also repeat customers. We have done a few case studies where some of our bigger clients told us that they definitely saw an increase in repeat customers, and they think it's because of their packaging. So the few tips that I can give on packaging is make sure your brand is on there. That's the most important thing. You don't have to have very detailed packaging, just make sure it looks professional. And sometimes simple is professional. Look at Apple's packaging. They have such simple packaging, but it's so premium. You can get away with that for electronic products and things like that. But for example, if you have like baby products, you like to make them giftable. because people will buy them directly off Amazon and give them as a gift at a baby shower, for example. Other tips is to make it reusable. So if you take, for example, those subscription boxes, the display mailer boxes, if you have a product that needs to be stored again, use those boxes, and people will use the box to store the product in again, and then your brand name is going to be visible the whole time. So if they want to purchase something else that's related to that product, they're going to look at your brand. So that's a few of the tips that I would say for packaging.
Yeah, definitely good stuff. And I presume that you guys did this fresh Cura product that's in the presentation, because you had the dye line there, so that kind of was a giveaway. But
yeah,
again, I really encourage people to just send us an email and get this presentation, because there's some great examples of packaging and branding in here. And to me, this is kind of like packaging 101. It just should be the aha moment for you, where this container, it's a coffee store container for your counter. You just put whole beans in there, or grind them up and put the beans in the container, and it keeps them fresh. And not necessarily that exciting of a product, but they did a great job with branding and all that. But the packaging, the difference in cost to do what they did is probably 10 to 20 cents per unit. It's insignificant, right? I mean, it probably comes by default in a white or cardboard box. So you're already paying for that as a part of your COGS. And to upgrade to this,
just print on that template.
Yeah, and they did it with 2 colors. So the 2-color printing is cheaper. It's just black and purple, which is their logo, has the purple in it. And the purple top stands right the heck out. It has their logo. I mean, it's amazing. And again, it's 10 or 20 cents to do this. And the other advantage you get is they have their FNSKU printed right on the box. And so you don't have to pay anyone to put a label on there. And so that's integrated right into the packaging as well. And the mileage you get for this 10 or 20 cents is way more than you'll get trying to nickel and dime your supplier to get them to lower your COGS by 10 or 20 cents. That's where people, I think, spend all their time. It's oh, can I nickel and dime my manufacturer just a little bit more and try to get the COGS down? You'd be better off spending 10 or 20 cents and getting way more mileage, because again, it'll help you sell, as we talked about, that this listing will stand out, the packaging assembled on the right-hand side, which I assume might even be their main image for Amazon. I mean, it stands way out, more than it would if it was just the product, because the purple top really draws your eye to that listing. And that's the big key is, I mean, if someone types in coffee container or coffee canister, to store coffee, there's going to be 20, 30 results on the first page, depending on how Amazon is feeling that day with their testing. And how do you stand out from the crowd? And this is definitely the way to do it. And again, I encourage you guys to just, even if you look at this one slide, because it really, I think, is just kind of packaging 101. It'll really help you get eyeballs and get more sales.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like you mentioned, I mean, for 10 to 20 cents to print on that template that the supplier gives you, if you have Amazon put the FNSKU on your packaging, it costs you from 20 to 30 cents.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can make the choice, either have them just place the FNSKU, or you print the FNSKU and some nice artwork on your box, and that can give you a lot of returning clients.
Absolutely.
So I think it's just there's no question about it. You need to do packaging. And I mean, yeah, like you said, it's not that expensive to just print on that template.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Let's shift gears a little bit. Now someone's ordered the product and you have great packaging, they open it up. You should probably have an insert in there. I mean, people, I think, miss on this. There's an opportunity, even though 80%, 90%, whatever it is, of people just take it and immediately throw it in the trash. Even if a small percentage of people take the time to read it, everything's about small gains in this business. You're never going to do anything anymore that's going to be so revolutionary that you're the only one ever doing it. But having these small gains and doing these incremental things that are better than the average competitor can make a big difference. So anyway, let's chat about inserts for a couple minutes.
Yeah, sure. So inserts can definitely help you get some client reviews. It can explain the product or the instructions for the product, and it can increase your repeat purchases. That's just some of the things that an insert can do for you. But it's nice for people. I know when I purchase something from Amazon, I love it to get a little card in there. Even if you just say thank you on there, I mean, that's so nice. It feels very personal to read that. And I think That's one of my tips as well, to say thank you, because as soon as people read that, they are more inclined to reading the rest of the insert as well. And a lot of people ask us, but are you allowed to ask for a review? Yeah, you are. You're just not allowed to ask for a 5-star review or a positive review or give incentives for a positive review. But you can ask, I mean, this is one of the simple standard wording that we have for inserts, but just asking like this for a product review, this has been shown to work as well. But it's very simple, but it works. And it's also just for that little bit more, you can get those stars on your listing that you might need to just rank above other competitors.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that you didn't mention, but I just want to reiterate because it's super important, you can't have an if on there either. So you can't say like, if you had a great experience or if you had a great, something like that, leave us a review. But if you didn't, contact support. You can't have that if but thing in there. That's another important thing. And the way that you guys have worded this is like 100% TOS compliant, super simple. The back of the card here says, we would love to hear your feedback by kindly leaving us an Amazon product review, which would mean the world to us. And then there's instructions how to leave a review. Log into Amazon, click orders, click on this order, write a review. And then it does say down below, if you need to ask us any questions, simply click the Ask Seller button and we'll be glad to help. The distinguishing factor here is that it doesn't say that you have to do that in order to leave a review, or if you had a bad experience, leave a review. So it's very subtle and smart in the way that it's written. And the thing that I also love is the flip side of the card with much bigger font, which I might steal this. I love this concept, is your purchase made our day. We hope what's in this package makes yours. And we actually do something similar with our post-purchase email flows, and this has now been copied quite a bit. I saw a presentation that someone gave at ECF Live kind of talking about this, but we just got your order, someone down in the warehouse is throwing a party now kind of thing or whatever because we got the order. This kind of resonates with that, and I think it's super smart. Your purchase made our day, and we hope that this makes, what's in here makes your day. And it's so subtle and even subliminal that people might not even actually realize how it changed the way that they feel in that moment. But there's a good chance when they read that, it might be like, oh man, that's cool, and yeah. I think it drives on what's on the other side of the card. There's a bigger chance that they'll leave the review when they read that. Oh yeah, definitely. No, that's for sure. No, and I mean, it makes you feel good as a customer getting that. Definitely does. Mm-hmm, I know I feel like that. So yeah. Cool. Well, let's talk about what I perceive after all my research of selling on Amazon is images. What's important on your listing. I don't know, this still drives me crazy that people spend so much time and money researching their product and getting samples and even working on packaging. A lot of times we finally have gotten through to them that packaging is important and branding and all that stuff, and just spending a year. It takes sometimes a year to get a product developed, but then they take a couple of photos with their iPhone and throw them up on their listing and then wonder why things aren't selling.
Yeah, it doesn't sell. Yeah.
Just doesn't sell. And the images are the only medium that you have to communicate with your customers. They aren't walking into your store or into your house and asking you questions. They aren't calling you. There's no way to really communicate with an Amazon customer. And so these images are the most important part of the whole process. And it's important to take the time to get them really right. And I'll share a tidbit. We just purchased a business and have been putting a lot of effort into really cranking up the level of these. And we have a whole team on staff that does this for ourselves. And we've been able to get our conversion rate, they call the session percentage on Amazon, with a couple of listings that we tested. We're about to roll this out now to everything, but from 41% to 50.2. And wow. I mean, it's dramatic. I mean, that conversion rate is dramatic, and it's all just on the listing images. That's all we changed. And we tried to make sure that we didn't have other data points to mess with, and we did it on 5 listings just to make sure that there wasn't an anomaly with one and not the other. And this was consistent with all 5 listings. They all went up similar percentages. I only happen to have in front of me the one note here in front of me, but they were all similar. And so you can't say that these images don't matter, because they do. They make a significant difference. So you guys have done way more of this than I have, and the stuff that you've done is just beautiful. What are some tips and things that you've seen, best practices and such for these types of images?
Well, I think your listing images are one of your most important things when it comes obviously to your listing. I mean, I tell our clients that it's like your product on a shelf. So when people search your product, it's like your product between other products basically on a shelf. So your main image has to stand out, same as it is in brick and mortar. It has to stand out. And when you see competitors, this is an easy way to stand out from them. Like you mentioned earlier, when you just put that red stripe on your product on the main image, it stands out. So that's definitely a very important thing for images. Grabs the attention of your customer. It conveys a message of quality, and that's what you also mentioned. And you cannot do so much research for your product, take a year to do this, have everything ready, and just take a few amateur photos with your phone and just, slap them there on Amazon and think it's going to sell. You really have to pull that quality through to your image as well. Your branding has to come from your logo, your packaging, your listing images, everything. It has to be of superior quality so people can know what they can expect when they're purchasing your product. And your images also explain your product. A lot of times people don't really read the bullet points. They're a bit lazy, especially if it's like paragraphs. So we take that as an advantage, and we put that information in infographic style images for our clients to put on their listing. And it works. I mean, especially when people these days, they shop mainly on their mobile phones. So if you have these nice images that they can just scroll through and they don't have to read the listing because all the information is just in a nice summary of an infographic image with visual elements like icons and things, that's gonna intrigue the customer and that's gonna help them make their choice to purchase your product. So our tips for images is big, bold, high resolution. Your main image has to fill 85% of your little white square. It has to be on a pure white background. You only show the product or what's included, nothing else on your main image. On the rest of the images, not too much text, and use icons and be visual. Show people what they are gonna get instead of telling them and writing that so they have to read what we're gonna get, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely makes sense. And again, I know that this is a podcast medium, so it's only audio. If you do email us and get the presentation, again, support@ecomcareer.com. There's some great examples in here of the infographic style images for your listing. Things you mentioned, just like using icons and big text and great images. I especially love the back foam roller thing here with the little graphics. People just kind of get it. They read the bold words, segmentation technology, strong ABS frame, triangular texture, medium firmness. They don't read the bullet points. They don't read the description. As you were saying, people are lazy. But when you have a couple of words and they're bold, they catch your eyes. Like, I know everything I need to know about this product from just reading these 6 call outs that are a total of 15 words. It's basically told me everything I need to know. And it just looks good. That's the other thing. It looks really professional. It looks like this is, again, a Fortune 500 company's marketing department that put this listing together for Amazon. And I really love those particular images. I also love the deodorizing body wipe images with the chart. And again, if you grab this presentation, you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. But we found that these types of things work really well as well, where you've put a check where your product does this, but the competitors don't. And so their product is individually packaged and made from bamboo, and it's rinse free. There's no residue and biodegradable. All these different things. Although I wouldn't use that word on Amazon anymore because they're evidently shutting listings down for it. But it's beautiful, and it really, if you're considering why should I buy these to take on my trip versus another one, it really stands out. So yeah, I definitely concur. And this goes straight through not only to your main images, but also to EBC, formerly known as A+ content or whatever they call it these days.
They switch it up so much, I don't even know anymore.
It's that stuff down below.
Now it's A+ content again. I'm
Yeah. But it's super important. Again, if you're given tools, then why wouldn't you take them? And it's if you were, if you had a NASCAR team and you're allowed to have 5 people come out and work on your car on pit row, why wouldn't you have all 5 people? Why would you only insist on having 4 or 3 when your competitors are going to kick your butt because someone else is you're able to just directly focus on filling the gas tank or something. And I think that this goes hand in hand with that. So we're running a little bit short on time, but since it's the last thing on here, let's spend a little bit of time talking about A+ content.
Yeah, sure. I mean, A+ content, once again, it comes down onto your images. It has images. It's a visual tool that you have available to yourself there. So make the best of it. It gives more information about the product. It's an opportunity to show why your product is better. Like you said, having those tables and showing why your product is better than other products. It has been shown to give you higher conversion rates, reduced return rates, and it showcases your product in its unique value proposition. And the tips with A+ content, EBC, whatever they want to name that these days, is the same as I have said with your images. It's visual with icons, lifestyle and in use, and your brand has to come through. The important thing of using these lifestyle images in your EBC, you have those wide angles that you can really play around with, and that helps to let people see themselves using your product. And that's the nice thing about enhanced brand content. I mean, when I search for products on Amazon, I always check if they have enhanced brand content. That kind of helps me to decide if I purchase this product against another product. So it's definitely a very good thing to use. The wording in your A+ EBC content does not go along with you, or does not relate to your keyword searches. So you don't have to worry about using those text blocks that they give you in the templates. You can just use those image templates that they give you there, and you can make the most out of that. You can make them big and bold, and I would not hesitate doing enhanced brand content. The only thing that people need for that is brand registry.
Right. That's another important thing to make sure that you get, because it does more than just let you have enhanced brand content. You get other ad positions, you get protection for your brand, and several other important things. So if you haven't already gotten a trademark and applied for enhanced brand content, definitely do that. Awesome, Mariska. Well, I mean, this has been awesome. If people are interested in this stuff, where can they find more about you and Outlinematic?
Yeah, sure. So you can either email us at info@outlinematic.com or go to our website, outlinematic.com. We have a free consultation that we will call you and go through your listing and help you where we can. And you can see what we offer on our website. We have fixed pricing as well, and unlimited revisions on our design services.
Yeah, and I mean, I was just looking actually at your pricing page. I mean, it's really reasonable. I mean, $347 gets you your packaging designed and a logo and your insert and 2 free infographics. And if you need a couple more to fill out your listing, you can get those separately. But as we were talking about earlier, if you're going to spend all this time, energy, and money on the physical products, you really need to go the extra mile at the end and spend just a couple $100 will get you a long way. $347 here does everything. If you already have a logo, everything is piecemeal on their store. I'm sure if you have a bigger project and reach out to them, they'll work on custom pricing for you. But I mean, this stuff is super important. Don't just ignore it because you don't know who to turn to, or it seems like too much work. Now you know you can go to outlinematic.com, reach out to Mariska, and spice up your listings, if you will. So I appreciate you coming on. Stay safe out there. I know it's been a challenging time. I know you're hailing from South Africa. How are things been COVID-wise in that part of the world?
Well, we have quite strict lockdowns, but it's as if it's almost clearing up now. We went down to level 1 now, and it's going way better. It almost feels like things are turning back to normal, which I'm very ecstatic about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to get back home to the US. We're going back in June. So
you've been kind of stuck in South Africa because of COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm not sure if that's good or bad, and it depends on what part of the U.S. and all that.
Yeah, the time difference is a bit hard.
Yeah.
But Other than that, I mean, our friends and our family is here, so we get to see them. But
Right.
we really do miss our life in St. Petersburg in Florida. Florida is amazing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, good luck with all that. And hopefully, probably most importantly, I'm looking forward to getting back to conferences and seeing you in person again sometime in
Yeah.
2021, if not then in 2022. Hopefully, I missed going to all those events. They were a lot of fun.
Yeah, they were. We also look forward to it, definitely.
Cool. Thanks, Mariska. Again, outlinematic.com. Go check them out. Until next time, everyone, happy selling, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the 371st episode of the Ecom Crew podcast. Just as a reminder, ecomcrew.com/outlinematic will take you over to Outlinematic. The code ECOMCREW will get you 10% off. If you want to see the presentation that was talked about often in this, you can email us at support@ecomcrew.com. Again, even if you don't use Outlinematic, there's lots of really good examples in here of their work that can give you some good ideas to give to your designer, or that if you're a designer yourself, you can incorporate in your designs. Creative inspiration is always really important, and so that's what it's there for. So just email us again, support@ecomcrew.com. We will send you a copy of the presentation, which is packed full of all of these examples I think you'll find really helpful. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I want to thank you, as always, for your support. And until the next episode, happy selling, and we'll talk to you soon.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Ecom Crew podcast. If you haven't done so already, please head over to iTunes and leave us a review. It helps more than you know. Did you know that Ecom Crew has a ton of free content, including e-commerce courses? Head over to ecomcrew.com/free to check it out today. That's going to do it for this episode of the Ecom Crew podcast. Until the next one, happy selling, and we'll talk to you soon.